Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Core for Any. Previous video will say to Node.js plus the Express framework and with the MySQL connection and the Socket IO library import. We need to configure the Socket IO library in today episode. And let's start. First of all, we need to create here write down here some coding to write down here the main socket controller. We need to create here the socket. First of all, how to connect create socket server. Let's start. First of all, we need to import here the helper here help class or the some basic common function here past here the required reports and then to past here helper class. Now we need to import here the DB as a past here connection we need to get here. With the helper dot the DB. Now here the imported this class and we need to save here first of all the response. We need to write down here response. Today we need to create here one socket API connections. Now we need to add here success. Now we need to configure here the IO. We need to use this IO object and on connect. Write down here the align. The syntax for the connections, that IO connection here. Now need to check here the client with one event. We need to create here the listen event listen. We need to create socket. Save the here the socket ID inside the Node.js server virtually in RAM. Right down here. Yeah. And we need to put here the helper which data get here display here. Update socket. This is the event name which data we need to get here. And we need to convert this data inside the JSON object. We need to convert because we need to always pass the here data as a JSON string and JSON string to convert JSON object. Convert this data in the JSON object. We need to always get here the string and we need to pass data here. Parse. Now save this. Need to check here the some configuration with helper build socket IO and check here client, give it client, and we need to give here the event name. To use here this event name we need to use here because we need to return this socket inside the emit file, and we need to get the mobile connected to which device to find, and we need to send this socket inside the return value. Here give the emit means the send data one to another, and need to on method we need to listen another give the socket, and we need to listen the data here. Past here an object, and check here check key, check always check here the id valid or not. If not valid, we not pass the connect this data with the server. Do not save the this socket IO, and here's the callback. Right. Now we need to check inside the database this user available or not save active or not. We need to check inside. We need to first of all the one here the local host. Write down here the local host PHP my admin, and to go inside here food delivery app, need to SQL. To select these tables, after need to go SQL, and need to select query. Now need to change this query as a no need pass, and to pass this value this query or maybe passed one and get this result here one record. Now we need to copy this query, and we need to create here b connections. So write down here db, and need to pass this query value. Need to write down here the SQL query, paste this query here, and to write down here the question mark, and pass here argument session object passed as the user ID. Check here, and now we need to check here the response errors and result. And check here the get database error or not. Check if error, then we do returns. Write down here the helper throw error with the socket error. We need to not use the HTML because not send the response. We need to use socket, then you need to always give the socket to reply. That's we need to use socket, and need to pass here the error, and give here the client, and then after we need to socket return this response. Now okay, and we need to check here the if result and then why you need to give response here. Write down here the response, write down here success response. status. Oh, and to pass here message. Invalid. Client. Socket. Same socket we need to return here. This one. If okay, we need to go copy this, and this is the create the update socket API. Socket API. This is the update socket API. Here one. Once we need message success. Now we need to save this socket. To use this socket IO, and inside we need to save this user socket ID. To put here, copy this and write down here, and dynamic with the JSON past here. To client dot id, get this socket ID. Okay, now save, and to save inside the, and we need to helper dot print socket only for the debug purpose. After we need to remove these lines for the listing. Okay, now get done, and now we need to configure with how to configure the node inside not node. We need to run first. Now database connection is the databases, and now socket are the working good, and we need to connect this socket inside the Flutter app. Now we need to create one demo. Now we need to create here the Flutter create and organization first. Down here home dot, and need to give here project names socket IO connections. Demo, and we need to this project. Okay, now done, and we need to open the VS Coder, and we need to source folder. screens and we run the iOS device. Okay, now simulator is the run done and we need to configure here to change this name as a socket connection. Now we need to first of all create here the common folders, write down, and then we need to the file. Need to first of all the import here the library. We need to find out the dots. Need to use this socket IO client. Install. To go up space and need to install. To close and run this project. Now we need to create here the common class in the socket configuration class. We need to create common class. Write down here. Down here. We need to first of all the create for the Android another files. Write down here the override the class my device Android not working the socket I right. Now first of all and configure IO. Write down here X. Stand write down here that is active. bring assign this value and do this. That we need to configure this class first of all inside the main and run before connections. HTTP. Well, sign it. One more. Right down here the get binding. Sure. Put this. See here. Down here. And now we need to create here the socket helper class. We need now need to wise unit socket manager is the good. Write down. Create single stone class. We need to get here the assign mode down here. And down here get manager. single stone. Write down here. Write down here. Go to here. Socket. Open example. Write down. And now I need to write down here the IO object. Here optional and to okay. And we need to write down here the first socket menu. Done. And now we need to create a ID name. Okay. Down here is socket. Need to just and we need to pass here, right? Write down here. What's here? This spot. Options. And we need to write down here the down here transport. The wrap socket will write down here the one property connect as a past here semicolon. And we need to write down here the connection event. We need to write down here the question mark, and we need to write down here event name as a connect semicolon, and we need to write down here the print and so here the socket for method down here. And down, and we need to write down here the print step. Now this, and we need to write down here the print. Write down here now one more another socket. We need to listen our event. Write down here so we need to get this event. We need to listen socket connections. We need here copy this socket IO and socket get here. Write down here outside if check here status. Hit this data, and one more connection will give here for the connecting event. We need most important parts of the socket. Try to reconnect. now need to create here the one functions, another function we write down here. Socket. Sure. Fire. Server event we need to fire here. Now the try cast. Sometimes errors, that's try cast. And now need to Emit method we need to pass here. Socket. Pass here function. The ID that here and pass here 1. Now need to give here the this event need to fire after connect here. For this API we need to register the socket ID inside the server. Always need to pass, otherwise we will not get the save inside the memory. Save this and we need to run this project and we do that here the point. Start. We need to configure here initialize. Get the socket. Share and socket. And now we need to here. Need to get here the connection done and need to socket connect done. And now need to fire this event and need to check here at the log. Log. Now check and to remove the breakpoint and we need to receive here the socket and we need to listen this event and we need to print this log here and we need to return the response and we need to receive here the response get successfully get here successfully get response socket print here. Like we need to again run here and check again. Okay, now call the update socket event fire at here and we need to listen this socket IO and this response we need to get here. Now okay, this is the socket connection. If you like this video, give the thumbs up. And if you're new user, so please subscribe my channels and press the notification bell icon. You can get the every new video notification. If you have any question related to socket, so please write down in the comment section. I will help you and sort out your issue. And everyone have a nice day and goodbye.